the man who went 40 years without sleep. Paul Kern received a near-fatal injury, but lived. He most likely lost a part of his brain. Kern stayed awake for the rest of his life. He claimed to feel no pain or fatigue. Was it all hogwash or a real-life miracle? Paul Kern was drafted into the Austro-Hungarian army in World War I. He started his career in the regular army. Eventually, he was reassigned to the elite shock trooper division. Their mission was one of the most dangerous. The shock troopers were tasked with clearing out enemy trenches. They were often the first to charge into battle. Casualties were always high. In 1915, Kern went over the wall to clear a Russian trench. He had done it before without being hit, but this time, he suffered a life-altering injury. A bullet passed through his right temple. It exited the back of his head. Kern went down and blacked out. The Hungarian force took the enemy trench. Someone found Kern, who was miraculously alive. He was rushed to the hospital. The doctors dressed the holes in Kern's head. He had lost a lot of blood and slipped into a coma. The soldier lived because the bullet passed straight through his head. It could have been lodged in his brain. The doctors probably would have killed Kern, trying to remove it. They still didn't believe he would ever come out of his coma. Kern's skull was shattered. He was missing a chunk of his frontal lobe. This was most likely the reason for the bizarre side effects to follow. Kern woke up and appeared healthy. The only problem was a splitting headache. He realized that something was wrong when he couldn't sleep for days. It seemed as if his body didn't require sleep anymore. Kern showed no signs of exhaustion. Many doctors examined him over the following years. The only downside of his condition was an excess of free time. Kern spent his nights reading books. While everyone was awake, he would visit his family and friends. One doctor suggested that he was actually microsleeping. Perhaps Kern dozed off for a few seconds at a time. It would have allowed his brain to rest. Other doctors theorized that his injury made sleep unnecessary. For the average person, lack of sleep is very dangerous. Our body needs between 7 and 9 hours of sleep each night. Sleep-deprived people develop cognitive problems. They are at a higher risk of getting Alzheimer's. This didn't seem to occur during Kern's life, but his cost of living increased considerably. The lights in his house were on every night, so he could read. His body required more calories to keep going. Never sleeping added over 40 years to his life. In fact, Kern lived to be 59 and died in 1943. We cannot say for sure whether his story was true or not. Much of it comes from an article published in 1930. It has never been corroborated by outside sources. Kern wasn't the only one who allegedly went years without sleep. There were also Al Herpin and Tyan Gok. Al Herpin claimed he never slept in his life. In Gok's war, he had stayed awake for 48 years. One thing remains certain. Every year, we lose around 2,555 hours to sleep. It amounts to more than 106 days. Just think of what we could do with so much extra time.